For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like the G3 Sportsman, featuring sturdy construction and superior features. These perfect fishing boats were designed with wide deck space, plenty of storage, and a smart layout. And they also deliver more fun per gallon than anything else on the water. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
The following is a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.
You are watching the Sports Source Kickoff with John Pennington, presented by Madisonville Marine.
Good game day morning to you, and welcome into the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine. We are here for the next 30 minutes to get you ready for Tennessee, Georgia. Huge game in the life of the coach that Tennessee's got over there. We'll talk about Butch Jones, but most of this will be about Tennessee's, a lot of it will be about Tennessee's offense and how you get it kick-started against what looks to be a really good Georgia defense. Tennessee, Georgia, we'll preview it over the next 30 minutes. Let's get right in. This first segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. One of the things that makes them so special is the fact that they offer this huge selection. It's the selection of a monster boat dealer, like you'd think biggest in the state, biggest in 5 states. But they still provide one-on-one A-plus customer service, the kind you get from a family business. That's why boat buyers have been returning to them for more than 40 years. That's a lot of repeat business over 40-something years to stay open that long. And that tells you all you need to know about Madisonville Marine. There is no better place to buy a boat. Get down there and check them out, Highway 411 North in Madisonville. No better panel in all of TV. Right here. We got Jimmy Himes. We got VFL LaMarcus Thompson. We got Mike Griffith. We got Vince Ferrara down there. I appreciate you guys all being here. It's been another rough week on Rocky Top for Butch Jones. But Georgia comes in this afternoon. It's an opportunity. Maybe a tough opportunity, but it's an opportunity to kind of stop some of the bleeding, some of the grumbling you've been hearing recently. The question is, what kind of game should we expect? And I want to start. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I want to start by talking about fireworks. Are they expected today? The winner of the last 5 Tennessee-Georgia games has scored a minimum of 34 points. So 5 years in a row, the winner has scored at least 34. Only 5 times in the 25 games since 1992, when it became an annual rivalry, the winner of UT-Georgia has scored fewer than 26. So it's usually a high-scoring game. And the last 5 Tennessee-Georgia games have all been decided by 7 points or less. So I'll start and just throw open the conversation here. Do we expect this to be another wild, high-scoring affair, or are we going to base this off what we saw against UMass and say maybe high-scoring on only one side? What are you expecting?
I don't expect a high-scoring game. I think Georgia's got a really good defense. I think they have one of the 3 best defenses in the SEC, Alabama and Auburn being the other 2. And I don't think Tennessee's offense is consistent enough to score 26 on Georgia. So I look for it to be more of a low-scoring game, somewhere in the 27-17 range, 27-13.
Just going to look like, I mean, here's the thing. There have been times when Georgia, Tennessee has played Florida in the past, and you could look back and say, well, Tennessee, why did they lose this game? You should have won that game. There are times that Georgia has lost to Tennessee in the last 10 or so years. The Kiffin year, for example, where you could, last year maybe, you could come back and say, why did they lose this game? Do you think this is going to be another wild, close one? This series tends to be close.
No, I don't think so, John. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be wild. I think, nothing short of Josh Dobbs walking out of the tunnel. I mean, he's the reason they won the last 2 years. Let's be honest. All you got to do is look at the rallies and the big comebacks that Josh Dobbs led when he put the whole team on his back. They don't have that type of quarterback playmaker right now. I do think the defense has improved and could keep it close for a little while. But I don't see this offensive line being good enough to stand up to Georgia's front 7. Even if Tennessee had everybody healthy, and they don't, they're missing 7 starters, I still don't think they would beat Georgia.
Yeah, I agree with Griff. I think we'll see Georgia score maybe up to that 34-point, but Tennessee is going to have a difficult time stopping Georgia's run game with what we've seen from Tennessee's run defense. And look, I'm not making too much of just what we saw from Georgia last week, because the conventional wisdom is, hey, Georgia's not going to play as well as that. Tennessee is going to bounce back. It's at home. Well, this is a different Georgia team. This isn't Georgia under Mark Richt. This Georgia team is tougher. They're more talented. They have a grinder's mentality. They don't have the country club type of NFL talent just hanging out, just trying to get through like they did before. That's why I think this is different.
I'm not willing to go that far yet.
I'm not either.
But we'll see. I mean, their first 4 games look pretty darn good. I'm not willing to say that Kirby Smart's better than, even suggested his program's better than Mark Richt's yet.
Well, I just think it's just the way they're playing, the way they carry themselves. And I thought that going into the year. I'm not just going off of last
They
week.
look more Alabama-esque than previous Georgia.
More physical.
Yes, much more.
I agree with that. Tennessee plays up to their competition, point blank period. So if you look at previous years, let's just say App State game last year. Tennessee didn't look very good in the App State game at all. Then they come out the next week, play Virginia Tech, and all of a sudden, who's this team? Where does it come from? Then even the next week, Ohio. They played Ohio, didn't look good at all. Then you go and play a Florida team, you go win that game, you come back fourth quarter team. Now, different team, different quarterback. I agree with you on that, Mike, but at the same time, Tennessee does play up to their competition. So
down to it. So I do expect them to show a different squad that we're going to be like, well, who's this Tennessee football team? So how much, one of the things we do in media is we do tend to, fans, everybody, you look at the last game and it's hard not to let that color your perception, because you're looking back. All those other games are further back. You're looking through the lens of what you saw the last time out. Is there a danger in us writing off Tennessee a little too quickly, as LaMarcus is kind of talking about there? That UMass game was terrible. If they play like that the rest of the way, there's a chance they don't win another game.
yeah, I agree with you.
But do we think that's the real Tennessee team? Because they looked bad on offense at Florida for a while, but then it came together. Georgia Tech came together. Last week it never came together. Is that what we're to expect, or do you still think that was hangover?
Well, I think the UMass game was a hangover from Florida, I do. But having said that, I haven't seen 4 good quarters out of this team. And I think if you don't give that against Georgia, you don't win. Tennessee had spurts against Florida. Gosh, the last part of the Georgia Tech game and then into overtime, I think they scored 5 touchdowns in 6 possessions. So, but they haven't been consistent in that regard. And that's the thing that makes me wonder about how good this team is.
Yeah, there's no identity yet, John. We're still this team is a work in progress, and we said they would be, and why wouldn't they be? They're missing Josh Dobbs. There's no Alvin Kamara. There's no Josh Malone. There's no Jalen Hurd. There's no Preston Williams. There's 41 yards back out of 350 some last year, and a lot of these guys were nobodies last year, and they're still trying to find out who they are and what their role is. Marquez Callaway had 1 target last week. He's one of the top 12 receivers in the country. We don't know who the go-to receiver is. They're just now figuring out Quentin Dormady can't run the read option. He couldn't fake out Jimmy Himes in the open field. He is a slow. He is not as mobile as they thought, and they've got to come up with Plan B because Quentin Dormady can't run the read option.
And the problem is he's not the passer people expected either.
Well, part of that's the receivers running the wrong route still too.
And the offensive line lets people get at his feet.
Absolutely.
But he does make bad decisions. He throws into coverage, and his mechanics get off kilter.
Under pressure, that does that to quarterbacks.
It does do that to quarterbacks, but this guy has not looked as good as I expected. And I think most people would agree with that. Vince, I'll let you finish out this segment.
Yeah, and it's the totality. Look at all the different things that you guys mentioned, and then you put it all together, and that's the struggles. Plus
everything but John Kelly.
Everything but that's exactly right.
Right.
That's the lone thing that we know about this football team. And plus, I don't think it's a very good matchup for Tennessee. How are Tennessee's tackles going to handle the speed on the outside, Lorenzo Carter and company with Georgia? Plus, Georgia does a lot of stunning. Tennessee's offensive line has struggled in that area. There's just a lot of things. The run game, the depth of the running game, all those things are very difficult for Tennessee.
Okay, I want to talk more about the offense. Look, we all know that Tennessee on defense is going to have a great game, stop the Georgia run, which will hopefully take away the play-action game from the freshman quarterback. We know that. The bigger issue here, though, if Tennessee can't score points, they're not going to win this game. So when we come back, what does Tennessee need to do to kickstart this offense? We've listed the problems. Are there fixes? Going back on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine.
From games to weddings to parties, and from executive travel to a night on the town, Chariots of Hire is the simplest, most cost-effective, safest way to turn an event into a lasting memory. Their dozens of vehicles allow you to select the perfect ride for your need, and their superior service guarantees you'll arrive in style. More options, more drivers, more experience. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire.
For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like G3 John boats built Gator tough. G3 Johns include all the features you could want from a workhorse boat. Massive live well capacity, lockable storage, even a midship fuel tank that allows for smoother running. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Come experience the Lexus life at Lexus of Knoxville, a level of service and satisfaction that goes above and beyond the everyday. We're a consecutive 5-time Elite of Lexus Award winner and rated 4.7 out of 5 stars for customer satisfaction according to Google. Lexus of Knoxville offers a limited lifetime powertrain warranty on all new and select pre-owned vehicles with unlimited miles. Enjoy express service, extended service hours with courtesy vehicles, and much more. Come experience the Lexus life at lexusofknoxville.com.
Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Bill Hodson Associates, the car wreck attorneys, have helped thousands of people all over Knoxville and East Tennessee.
From downtown to the duck pond, Broadway has about 30 traffic lights. In our 30 years, we've helped people hurt at most of these intersections, and we're ready to help you right now.
Experience you can trust. Bill Hodson Associates.
When it comes to your business, no one provides better security and life safety systems than Safety Systems. Protect your employees, your products, and your records with a single phone call. Professional technicians ready to design, install, and monitor your cutting-edge fire and security systems. Electric locks and surveillance cameras. Emergency and after-hours response and repairs. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and life safety systems.
And welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment of our program brought to you by Chariots of Hire. Folks, if you've got an anniversary dinner coming up, make it an anniversary to remember. If you're going to a concert sometime soon, make it a concert you'll remember forever. For a small price, you can turn a night on the town into an experience, into a memory. Check out their website and see for yourself. Get us a driver. Take you, your best guy or gal, another couple sedans, SUVs. It's really a nice way to make an event a special event. ChariotsOfHire.com to learn more. All right, we talked about Tennessee's offense. Here's what they face against Georgia today. As you can see, Tennessee's rush offense, and this is all against FBS opponents, so 3 games for each team. Tennessee averaging 4.96 yards per carry. Georgia's rush defense giving up 1.5 yards less than that, basically. Tennessee's pass offense averaging 6.1 yards per attempt. That's not great. Georgia's pass defense allowing only 4.4 yards per attempt. And you see, they've not, to an FBS team, they've not given up a touchdown pass. They've got 2 interceptions. Tennessee, 4 TDs, 3 interceptions throwing the football. UT in total offense, 376 yards per game. Georgia defense, 100 yards better than that per game. And then red zone, Tennessee at 63%. Getting touchdowns, Georgia only allowing 28% of red zone trips to turn into touchdowns. It is going to be a stiff test against Kirby Smart and his defense today. Vince, let's start. We listed them in the last segment. Dormady, offensive line, receivers, play calling. What do you think Tennessee can do to kickstart this offense? I'll start with you. Easy question. What can Tennessee do to kickstart this offense against a good Georgia defense? Or can they?
Well, you mentioned in that graphic, one of the biggest things is the red zone. Tennessee was really good in the red zone last year, offense and defense. Georgia's one of the worst in the country, offense and defense in the red zone. That's flipped now this year, so they've got to convert there. But outside of that, I'll say a quick passing game, and then an empty set. That's something that Rick Neuheisel mentioned to us on Sports Talk when we talked to him this week, that he'd like to see Quentin Dormady in an empty. Now, does Tennessee trust enough receivers to go 5 wide and spread Georgia out and put them in a different situation? So that's something I would try. Rely on the running game for sure. And then I'd like to see them go to throw some more jump balls to Marquez Callaway. And then this is execution, but Quentin Dormady's got to have the best game of his collegiate career.
Yeah, John, I want to clarify something I said in the last segment. I said I thought Callaway was 12th in the nation, best receiver. He's 12th in receiving yards per catch in the country. And Vince, you're right on. And part of the reason why Tennessee would want to spread it out, go 5 wide or 4 wide, is because you spread the defense out, and that limits the different types of pressure packages that the defense can bring. By spreading them out, there's fewer guys in the box, and it's a little bit easier to diagnose where the pressure is coming from. As we alluded in the first segment, Tennessee's offensive line, a little inexperienced in places, has trouble with pressure. So that's one reason why you'd want to spread them out, John. But the big answer for me, because of the red zone deficiency, is explosive plays, whether it's that jump ball to Callaway, whether it's getting the ball in space to Ty Chandler, a sprinter, or John Kelly, who breaks 3 or 4 tackles. They're going to have to score on some big, long, explosive plays, because I don't see Tennessee having sustained drives.
You know, we're talking about changing things up, going 5 wide. There have been a lot of people who want to see them go under center. There's now talk of the Wildcat making an appearance, which to me is always, that's the most desperate of desperation moves, when you say, oh, wait, we got a Wildcat package. Great.
Unless you got Darren McFadden.
Okay, if you got Darren McFadden, I'll let you do it. And it's 10 years ago. You know, people have kind of caught on to that thing. But the bigger question here is, how much of a change do you expect to see in this offense moving forward? You don't see, I mean, you can go back, Bear Bryant, he changed his offense. Off season, he had 3 bad years and decided, you know what, I'm changing it to a wishbone. Urban Meyer tweaked his offense off season. You don't see many teams that say, scrap this, we're going to change the whole offense in the middle of the season. How much change, though, within this offense do you expect to see, if any?
That's a good question, and I agree with Mike saying that this offense hadn't found its identity. I don't think they have, but one of my concerns, and I like Rick Neuhausel a lot, but I'm not going empty and taking out the best offensive player I got. I'm not putting John Kelly at wide receiver. He's going to be in the backfield, so I'm not going to go empty much at all. And I also am not going to take him out in deference to the receivers, who I think are okay. I think there's some potential there, but I don't think they're ready to be prime time, at least not 4 or 5 of them yet. So I get that about trying to spread it and throw it a little bit, and I think you may do that some, but on a limited basis. And I'm kind of with you. I don't think you can just all of a sudden overhaul this offense. And I think they have had difficulty finding an offensive line to play the continuity that they want.
Shifting it again this week, today.
So I think that's a problem. Dormity's not played at the level I thought. I think John Kelly's your bell cow. And it may be hard-headed, but I'm going to feed him a lot.
Well, and the scary thing there is, and maybe you didn't game plan hard against UMass. Maybe without Jashawn Robertson in there, I thought you missed him a lot. Your inside run game just went smoke. It disappeared. But despite that offensive line last week, they couldn't open holes against UMass for John Kelly. Now, we saw them run on Florida when Florida got gassed in the 4th quarter. We saw them run on Georgia Tech in that 4th quarter. I don't know that I trust this offense. I'm like you. I would be feeding Kelly until his legs fell off this week. But I don't know if it's going to do much good because of what I saw last week. Are you going to be able to run on Georgia when you couldn't run on UMass? Go ahead, Lamarcus.
I'm going to challenge the offensive line this week. Like I said, they're going to have to get their pad level low, and they're going to have to come off the ball point blank, period. And then another thing about, I hear what everybody's saying, talking about scheme, hey, go this set, go that set. But it comes to execution. I mean, point blank, period. The identity of Tennessee is we're not executing on plays where we need to execute. That's what's been going on. You know, if we go back to the Florida game, you catch a touchdown pass, or if you don't drop a touchdown pass twice, we're probably talking about a different story about Tennessee's offense. So, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily scheme. I don't think it's necessarily we have to do this or that. We just need to catch the ball when we need to catch the ball. We need to execute when we need to execute, and just play football.
Is that the coach's fault that those things aren't happening, or how much accountability do you put on the players? Because there's been a lot of talk about that too.
You have to put it on both. You know what I mean? Like I said, you have to put it on some of the players because, like I said, they're the ones that's playing the game, and also you can't push it to the coach too much. You know what I mean? I mean, we as players, we have to take accountability sometime for the play call. We have to execute that play call. If it hits me in the hands, I need to catch that ball. You know, that's just big time SEC football, point blank, period. So, you know, I hear a lot of people, the fans, things of that nature, they throwing it all on Butch, they throwing all it. It comes down to how we play the game, you know? So, you know, I just think these guys need to play some football, and I'm going to challenge them this week. Hey, VFL to VFL, you know, future VFLs, play some football. Point blank, period.
And
let's go.
On the red zone, to me, the biggest problem Tennessee has in that situation is they don't have Dobbs. Yeah. I just think he made such a huge difference in their offense in the red zone.
Would any of you plan on playing Garantano today? Would you go in with a plan to play Garantano?
No.
Okay.
I would.
Should have done it before
Yeah.
more.
I'd have a
But
package.
I would. I want to see. I want to see Guarantano. I don't want to call it the Wildcat. Let's call it the Wild Lion, because this guy can throw the ball too, and he can run. And we need to see Guarantano needs to realize that what's going to get him on the field is making plays with his legs as well as his feet. You see the guy hesitating. He looks afraid to make mistakes. He needs to go out there and cut loose. He could be the answer ultimately.
That's why I wouldn't play him. What you just said.
Well, in a game like
I don't
this,
think he's
once you're
ready.
down
Don't
by
think he's
2
ready.
touchdowns, Quentin Dormady ain't bringing you
But
back
that's not
against
the
his
plan.
defense.
My plan is not to get down by 2 touchdowns.
Okay. Well, that's a fair point.
Best luck.
Come back win.
Yeah. After the
If Guarantano is the Wildcat, I feel better about it than linebackers and running backs and that kind of stuff.
Kelly?
I would rather. I think you can give the ball to Kelly and he can get his yards. I don't think you need to put him in the Wildcat for that. I'm all for getting Guarantano on the field to use his legs.
Why not
I think
have a
you nailed
package
it.
like Tebow had at Florida? I don't understand why we haven't seen that.
But the fact that you haven't done it yet,
Right.
it does make it more difficult to say, oh, let's do it against Georgia, because he hasn't looked ready when he's been in there. I would have liked to have seen where he would have gone confidence-wise last week if the third down conversion, rifle pass, perfectly thrown, isn't dropped.
Right.
If you get that first down, do things click? We don't know. But if you have some sort of small package where you're able to use his legs, where that becomes Chris Leak is our thrower, Guarantano comes in and he's our runner, okay, I would be okay with that. But I'm like Jimmy. I don't think I would go out there saying, all right, the third series and the fourth series are yours. I wouldn't go there.
Unless you've been working on it and you just haven't shown it yet.
I give him confidence too.
Why wouldn't you show it, though, against Florida?
Because I guess you didn't need to. You almost came back without it.
But you played 3 quarters when you couldn't do anything. I think they would have brought it out if they thought it was a good deal.
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe when they were struggling against UMass, looking like they were going to lose, they could have brought it out. But we'll see. Maybe they've just kept it under wraps, and it's the key to the season. I'll bet not. All right.
I don't know about that.
When we come back, we're going to talk about, is this a last stand for Butch Jones, and also who wins and why. Come on back.
When it comes to your home, no one provides better security and audio-video systems than Safety Systems. Control everything using your tablet or smartphone, whether it's a hidden TV or the temperature in your home. Lighting, doors that open and close, lock and unlock, cameras that allow you to watch your home from wherever you may be, all at the touch of a button. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and audio-video systems.
For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like Suncatcher pontoons, ultra luxurious, sophisticated, and stylish. You won't find a more family-friendly pontoon boat. All with cutting-edge technology designed to enhance the quality of your time on the water. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Bill Hodson Associates, the car wreck attorneys, have helped thousands of people all over Knoxville and East Tennessee.
2 of America's busiest interstate highways intersect in Knoxville. Interstate speed keeps traffic moving, but it can also result in terrible wrecks. We've helped a lot of people hurt in these wrecks, and we're ready to help you right now.
Experience you can trust. Bill Hodson Associates.
Come experience the Lexus life at Lexus of Knoxville, a level of service and satisfaction that goes above and beyond the everyday. We're a consecutive 5-time Elite of Lexus Award winner and rated 4.7 out of 5 stars for customer satisfaction according to Google. Lexus of Knoxville offers a limited lifetime powertrain warranty on all new and select pre-owned vehicles with unlimited miles. Enjoy express service, extended service hours with courtesy vehicles, and much more. Come experience the Lexus life at lexusofknoxville.com.
From games to weddings to parties, and from executive travel to a night on the town, Chariots of Hire is the simplest, most cost-effective, safest way to turn an event into a lasting memory. Their dozens of vehicles allow you to select the perfect ride for your need, and their superior service guarantees you'll arrive in style. More options, more drivers, more experience. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff, Presented by Madisonville Marine. This segment brought to you by Lexus of Knoxville, home of the lifetime warranty, home of the college graduate finance program, home of the military appreciation program, and home to the best prices on the best cars in East Tennessee. Check out lexusofknoxville.com to learn more about this month's deals and those programs I just mentioned. Really good stuff going on at Lexus of Knoxville. Find out more at lexusofknoxville.com. All right, I want to remind you that tomorrow, coming up on Channel 6 over on WATE, it's our original show, The Sports Source. We'll be breaking down the Tennessee-Georgia game with, you see, the media guys are in white, the VFLs are in orange. It'll be a huge packed panel as usual tomorrow, 11 a.m. on WATE 6, The Sports Source. Guys, it's been a weird week. Rumors and photos regarding Shy Tuttle. Jones said there's too much negativity around here. He says the media isn't helping them with recruiting, which that's not our job. And then Peyton Manning comes out in support of him. And people kind of yawn at the whole Peyton Manning support thing, which isn't a good sign if you're Butch Jones. If you go on Twitter and people are like, yeah, well, Peyton also supported Buzz Peterson. If they're not following St. Peyton, then you know Butch is in a bad spot. Very quickly, do we see this as some sort of last stand today? If he loses, certainly theoretically he could turn things around, but if he loses, what do you expect fans' support to be the rest of the way?
I think it would drop.
Crater?
Significantly. I actually, and here's the problem with that too. If you lose this game, then in my opinion, for all practical purposes, you're out of the East race, because who expects them to beat Alabama? If you got 3 losses and one's to Georgia and one's to Florida, how are you going to win the East? Then you have an open date to fester. Mm-hmm. So you don't get to come back and play another game until South Carolina. I actually think from that perspective, South Carolina may be better than Georgia.
Okay.
If you don't beat South Carolina, uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay. You guys agree with that?
I agree with Jimmy. I think South Carolina's the game, and then I think Kentucky's the game, and then I think Missouri's the game, and Vanderbilt's the game.
Yeah, you lose to Georgia, you've taken away all the other
that's kind of your last mulligan, I think. You know, realistically. I mean, but let's be honest. When we went into this season, Tennessee was picked to finish 3rd in the East, behind Florida and Georgia. They're about where we thought they would be, and some people had them losing to Georgia Tech.
They're better than where I thought they
would
be.
Right.
But they don't look as good as I thought they would.
I agree, and they're 3-2, and they're young. But I think you'll see some personnel decisions come out of this too, Jimmy. If they lose to Georgia later on today, as I expect them to, and I think everyone, I don't want to speak for LaMarcus, but if they lose to Georgia, like we expect, and I'm Butch Jones, I'm saying okay. I'm saying okay, Brett Kendrick. I'm saying okay, Coleman Thomas. I'm going with the young guys, because you guys didn't get it done. And I'd look on defense. I'd start, if all things are equal, I'm playing the younger guys, because these seniors have had their chance to seal their legacy.
But here's the thing,
they didn't get it done.
But here's the thing you're going to run into. You got guys over there who'll be coaching for their jobs. Mm-hmm. Will they really say, you know what, I'm turning my job over to the young guys? I see what you're saying. I just don't know that this group, which seems to have gotten more conservative with each passing year, I don't know that they would be the ones to say, okay, our backs are against the wall, let's throw the kids out there.
But that's part of what's happening right now when we talk about the inner team and the young guys, the guys that came here to win championships, that signed on to a top 25 program. They're tired of the old guys not getting it done. And you're seeing, that's what you're seeing. There's a push from the guys that were recruited to win championships, from the old guys that go, well, I've been a starter since I got here. Well, the team sucked when you got there.
Well, here's the thing. The coaching staff hasn't been willing to play young players looking at the big picture already. Why are they going to now start to coach for the future when they're trying to save their jobs? I just don't see them doing that. Look, I don't think Butch Jones will get fired if he loses to Georgia. The heat will get turned up. It'll be really bad during those 2 weeks. But then they'll be likely with 3 losses. Georgia will be 2, Alabama 3. What do you do with the rest of your games? And then what's the attendance like at Neyland Stadium? It was a bad sign against UMass, but let's see if that carries on. Maybe a win. If you look good in your other games, maybe the attendance isn't as bad as it was.
I want to see how the Checker Neyland thing looks, because you had a push on Twitter this week for people to mess it up. Some Tennessee fans were saying, let's mess that up, which again, every fan base has great fans, and every fan base has a lunatic fringe. There's a lunatic fringe here that works against its own school like none in the country. Mm-hmm. Nobody else consistently tries to hurt their own school. Why in the world anybody would worry about Checker Neyland? But it will be interesting to see what the crowd is like, how many red and black shirts you see mixed in with this orange and white. I want to see that this afternoon. All right, we got about 30 seconds here. Jimmy, who you taking and why? I think we've heard why for the last 30 minutes.
Georgia. I just think they're better at the line of scrimmage, too. I think that'll be an issue for Tennessee.
Georgia native LaMarcus Thompson. I know who you want to win. Who you taking quickly?
You just put that on my, you put me in a tough spot, but I'm gonna say Georgia.
Okay. Mike Griffith, Georgia. Vince?
Georgia, too athletic to go to the line of scrimmage.
I just think they're if Tennessee's going to win, I think John Kelly's going to have one of those 150 to 250 yards of total offense type days. So, all right. Thanks to all these guys. Thanks to Fox 43. We'll see you tomorrow on WATE6 for the Sports Source. And we'll see you next week right here.
This has been a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.